As far as sewing by hand, for buttons and whatnot, I prefer to use just an average size needle, average size hole, eye of the needle. Here also is something, it's a little needle threader. You put this through the eye of the needle, put your thread in it, and then pull it back. This is really helpful for people who have vision challenges and struggle with threading a needle. You can also just look at the needle. If you pick up your needle and look at it, a lot of times your brain will be able to help you guide that through. If you just kind of trying to poke at the needle without looking at the eye of the needle, you know, it doesn't always work. So just pick it up, eyeball it, then try to go through it. Somehow that helps your brain figure out what you're trying to do. As far as hand quilting, you have to remember that our ancestors did all this stuff by hand. I have here a book that my aunt gave me about old quilts, historical quilts in Connecticut, which is where I'm originally from. And they did this all by hand. I'm really impressed with this one pattern. It's called a mariner's compass. And you can look at that. That was all done by hand, without any plastic rulers, without any rotary cutters, and any of the modern tools that we have. They had scissors, needle, thread, and that was about it. And this is all applique. It's called a mariner's compass, and this particular one was made and finished in April of 1855. So, there you go. Let's go ahead and move on to our little sewing demonstration. And I am going to sew on this piece of paper just for demonstration purposes. This is what we did when I was in 8th grade. We just started on lined paper to learn how to control the pedal of the machine, learn how to put the needle up and down, and do a little back stitching. So I'm not even going to use any thread in the machine because we're on paper for one thing, so it doesn't really work that well. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to take out the bobbin thread as well. We don't need that. We're just going to practice the control of the foot. So you want to go ahead and start and line up your seam right there with the line. Drop down your foot onto the paper. And I see that there we go. My needle is lined up. I'm just going to put my foot on the pedal. If you've never used a foot pedal before, like on a golf cart or go-kart, this is probably going to be a new experience for you. We're just going to sew like this and guide the paper along. This is a 1/4 inch seam that I have marked, just so you get used to that idea. Get feeling a little comfortable, you may be able to go speed up a little bit. I'm going to go all the way down to the end. And what I'm going to do is back stitch my seams. Different machines are going to have different methods for going in reverse. So I'm going to get to the end. I'm going to stop. I'm going to hit the reverse button. and back stitch. This helps secure your seams. Now obviously we have no seam here because this is just paper, but that's the practice. So go ahead and you're going to go also and do these other two the same. I'm going to go on to showing you how to go around a corner. In some cases you may have to make a corner and you want to learn how to pivot. So it's just going to be really a short exercise here in showing that. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to line up my needle and I drop the foot down by putting the lever down in the back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go, and as I get close to here I'm going to slow down. When I get to the corner I'm going to stop. I'm going to drop the needle into the spot where I want to turn. I'm going to leave the needle there. And I'm going to pick up the foot and turn the paper. Here we go. Okay, I'm getting close. I'm slowing down. And that looks like it's in the right spot. I'm going to, by hand, just turn this wheel. Now, this is where I'm going to turn. I'm going to pick up the foot here, turn the paper, and I'm going to drop it down. I could have been just a little bit closer. And continue on. And there I've gone around a corner. And there it is, the pivot. Next we're going to go on a curve. You're going to learn how, you're just going to gradually turn the paper as the seam curves. So I'm going to put my paper underneath. I'm going to drop my foot down like this and start. Just kind of go slow, and you may want to fold that up and just kind of gradually guide your paper around following this line. And there we go. So we have straight seams, pivoting, and following a curve. Practice these skills and you will be sewing by machine.